Well, hello out there in YouTube land, and welcome back. It's been a while. Probably been about 2 months since we messed with this engine. Last time you saw it, it was down in my basement. We just kind of went through it and got some spark out of it, checked the oil, took the air cleaner off, looked in the tank a little bit. We got a nice spring day, but we're running out of time. We got maybe an hour before the sun sets. We got all your typical background noises. We got Fraggle over there. We got grain trucks over there. A little wind noise, dogs, you name it, we got it here at Briggs Mowers and More. The background noise never stops, so hopefully you can hear me okay. But yeah, I bought this old Briggs off Marketplace for 20 bucks. It's been sitting for, I can't remember if it was 30 or 40 years. And so I think today we're gonna make sure we still got some spark. And then we'll see if it'll pop a little bit. And then we'll get into tank, clean the tank and maybe the carburetor if we can. But it'd be really great if we could hear this thing pop off. I'm sorry, I know it's been a while. I had a loss in the family. Lost my Uncle Larry, that was pretty much my dad, and I've kind of been up and down since then. And to be honest, I really didn't feel like working on anything like this. I thought I'd break down in front of the camera, to be honest. So doing better than I thought I would so far. So we're just going to dive in and get going. But I'm glad to be back, and I hope you guys enjoy this. Some of you guys have been reaching out asking me if I'm okay, and I appreciate all the prayers and concerns for me and the family. It means a lot. But let's dive in. We're going to pull that plug out real quick, make sure we can still have spark on this. Yeah, the people I got this off of said that it was on a sickle bar mower, and would have been cool to have that, but the guy just saved the engine off of it. It's on a piece of C channel here, so we're just gonna see what happens, see if it's actually still got some spark. I think I got the right socket to wheel it over. I got some string sitting there too, so. Still got a nice hot spark, so that's excellent. Super thankful for that. Tighten that back down a little bit. We need to tighten this up a little bit. Sometimes these prongs get spread a little thin there. Fraggle's just, man, he's on it today. It's almost like Fraggle's missed you guys too a little bit. All right. So let me see if our choke's still freed up. I think I just kicked you guys. Yeah, the choke's still freed up, so that's good. And I think this is a reverse rotation. Maybe not. Could be wrong. We'll give her a little carb cleaner here. We're gonna see if it'll pop off for us. Pull our choke. All right. And here we go. Here goes nothing. We got a pop, didn't we? We got a little pop. There's signs of life. Let's give her another. All right. Boy, that don't sound too bad at all. Pretty quiet. All right, let's see. I think I left some carb cleaner in this last time. Let's see if things have improved in the tank any. Not by much. Okay. So I guess we're going to be pulling some stuff here. Let me try to bring you guys in here a little bit. All right. So first thing, we got this weird exhaust. I think we're gonna spin it out because I think it'll come out. Never mind the grain truck noise there. I don't know why they're running like bandits here. Yeah, that exhaust is fairly interesting. Chicken wire wrap. So then we got a bolt there. There's one down. Well, I got my. Okay, there we go. One there. Then we'll have Phillips heads 1, 2, and 3 on the carb. I'm sorry, I'm bouncing you guys all over the place, I know. Alrighty. So we'll just keep moving right along, see how far we get. I think those should be 3/8 bolts on that carburetor. I'll grab the 7/16 just in case. 3/8. Boy, she popped right off, didn't she? On that carburetor cleaner. That was cool. Be pretty cool to hear it fire off on some gasoline though. Sit there and run and idle and do what a Briggs and Stratton ought to do. Do Briggs and Stratton things. So anyway, how are things out there, guys? I haven't heard much on anybody. Mr. Albert Peterson checked in on me the other day. I can't remember. There've been a couple of guys. I think Mr. Simon Wiggle out there in the UK. I think he asked me how I was, and been pretty good to hear from you guys. Oh, my buddy Kyle, he checked in on me too. I forgot about that. He left me the nicest comment on the Time in Life video there the other day. Really appreciated that from my buddy Kyle. Appreciate all the prayers and the support. It's been something, I tell you. You know, it was a blessing too. You know, I mean, he's not in any pain anymore. He went on to better places, and I'm sure he'd love this right now. Old Uncle Larry, he was always the first person to watch all my videos. He was the biggest supporter of me on this, and we were sitting there talking the other night, and I told my wife, I said, I just don't know. I said, I just can't seem to get in the mood where I feel like it. And she said, well, she said, I don't think you should wait till you feel like it. She said, you know, your Uncle Larry would be pretty mad at you right now. And he would have been. That was one of the last things he told me the last time I saw him, and that was before he got really bad, before he died, you know. He says, you're gonna be just fine. And he was right. I am just fine, but going through the emotions after a loss like that, it really just kicks your butt. It really does. You know, people today don't make it okay for men to have emotions. I am so blessed to have a wife that encourages me to have emotions and express how I feel. But maybe you don't have that. And if you don't have that in your life, I highly suggest that you seek some help. Because before my wife, Uncle Larry was my go-to guy. He was the one I could go to about anything. I'm going to disconnect this governor spring here. And he's gone, and at the encouragement of my wife, I started to see a counselor a while ago, and I'll tell you what, that has just been such a blessing to me. It's helped me to get through so much of my past and see things in a better light. So if you guys are struggling with some mental health out there, I highly recommend that you don't have to walk that walk alone. You know, you can get some help and you'll be better off for it, I believe. That definitely done me a world of good. But anyway, I'll stop rambling about that and we'll continue on forward here. So we got the carb off, as you saw. I disconnected. There's a spring here, there's a spring there, there's one linkage. These old Briggs are so simple, super simple. Now we're going to take these last two carburetor bolts out. I had to pull one to get the vent tube off. So hopefully these will come out without too much of a hassle, and they are. And hopefully the tank gasket will come off in one piece. That is my hope anyway. Yeah, this that engine just fired right off. I think I think old Uncle Larry might have been with us on that one. Really makes me wish I would have got out here sooner, to tell you the truth. I could have needed that boost. But now we got it and we're moving on for sure. We spray down this tank and carb a little bit here. Try to moisten it up. Blow some of that crap out of the way there. Alright, let's give this a little tap. Alright. Okay, there it's separated from the tank, I hope. Alright, now we're going to get a look at our... Oh yeah. Oh man. It never ceases to amaze me what what that old broke down varnished gasoline looks like after sitting for so long. Just wow. Just absolute craziness. Oh, we're getting some fuel up through there. There we go. Excellent. That's the good stuff. Okay, it's coming back out the bottom. That's good too. Liking that. All right. So now over here you got your main adjustment here. There's a needle in here, and then there'll be a jet in behind there. I think that's a 1/2 inch. So I'm glad we're getting somewhere on this carburetor. That was excellent. I'm going to put some carb cleaner down the bottom of this tank. Try to let that eat a little bit, because it's pretty gross. Pretty gross. Got to be careful not to bust these off or lose your carburetor bolts while you're doing these things. Hopefully this will come loose without too much of a hassle. And popping right out. All right. Oh, that looks like new. Excellent. So now, let me see if you guys can see that. Hopefully you can see that jet. It takes a flat blade to spin that jet out. And this one's going to come out. Awesome. Oh man, I just realized I don't have my my jet poker here. It's down. I took a little night job. I worked down there a couple nights a week. My best customer on my small engine business kind of hired me over the winter when I couldn't do anything, and I'm still down there working. He keeps me plenty busy. You can actually see through that jet. It's really clean in there. Which kind of tells me this thing wasn't ever ran off any of this nasty fuel. Nobody ever even tried it. It's been sitting a long time though. We're gonna blow through here. Man, that is just bad. I don't know that we're getting anything up through here though. I'm spraying it all over the camera. Okay. I'm just soaking the crap out of it, hoping it'll go. I don't know though. Pretty rough. Pretty rough. Now I don't know if this is the same diaphragm I have or not. Uh-oh, what just fell out? Okay. Screw. don't know if this is the same diaphragm I have or not. Boy, there's a lot of trash there. Uh-oh. I hate it when I lose the red straw off the carb cleaner. That's like the easiest thing to lose in the world is that red straw, don't you know it? Starting to lose our light already. Not a good thing when you got carburetors in pieces. Man, I really would like to get something through that smaller pickup tube there. There we go. There it's going through there. Awesome. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Alright, I need to go see if I actually have a diaphragm that's going to work for this, because more than likely it's going to need one. Got a cheap Amazon diaphragm kit. I know it'll work for the newer flatties. I don't know if it works for these old ones though. Let's see here. I think that might work. I would hate to put this all I'd hate to put this all the way back together and then it won't pump fuel. I guess that would make for longer content, but might as well do it the right way while we got it apart, huh? I mean, the right way would have been obviously to soak this carburetor in the ultrasonic for a few days. 24 hours at the minimum. I can tell you that diaphragm's been pried off a time or two though. She ain't wanting to move now though. There it goes. There it kind of went. Kind of moved for a second. Oh yeah, she's all. You see in there, it's all gum. It's all gum together. Oh yeah. Glad we took that apart. Whew. That is nasty. Oh man. Solid varnish. That's what that is. Yeah, this one definitely could have used a soaking. Most definitely. Wow. Amazingly, it's not turned to dust. Yeah, spring in the ball were. Yeah, it was definitely leaking. It's got stuff behind it. Wow. Open. That's open. Cool. All right. Grab my wire brush, clean that up a little bit. Clean it all up while we're at it. This carburetor is in surprisingly good shape. somebody kept it didn't get any moisture in it. And that's a good thing. Probably saved this carburetor and this engine from the scrap pile. We're getting there. A little at a time and a lot gets done. All right, there's that. We're ready. As soon as I clean my hand off, we're ready to go back in with our diaphragm. Our new diaphragm. I want to get that carb cleaner out of there though. That stuff. Some of these new diaphragms, that carb cleaner, it'll hurt them. Man, went through a can already. That one's empty too. Let me get a new one. Still got a little cleaning to do on the outside end of it. Still a little gummy. Poof, right in the face. Okay. First shot of carb cleaner in the face for the year. That's that'll wake you up, you know. Make sure you blow through all the passages on there. Get through it all. Clean it up as good as you can. These old Briggs, they'll still run a little dirty. It's not how you like them, but they will. They're very, very hard engines to kill. Very, very hard engines to kill. They want to run. Even this one here, been sitting 30, 40 years, still wants to run. And my guess is once we get it back together, she'll probably pop off. And if we're lucky, she'll run like the day she was new. Be like nobody ever shut her off. But we'll see. We haven't ran it enough to tell if it's wore yet or not. It really didn't smoke, so. But sometimes that don't come till after they run a little bit. Sometimes you got to run them a little bit before they start letting the smoke out and telling you how bad the valve guides and piston rings are wore on them. Brand new diaphragm. Uh-oh. I'm making a mess out of this. Get a cover plate over here. Always be gentle when you're putting these back together, because you can tear these diaphragms. There's nothing to them really. They're just a little thin. I don't even know what they're made of, if they're rubber or vinyl or something. So you can rip them and tear them and you can crease them. They can be messed up. I don't know if you guys can even see what I'm doing. I hope you can. Hope it's not just me rambling on. I like to run the screws down just to where they touch the base at first. Hey, thanks, Fraggle. I needed that. and then you go around and you tighten them a little more. Try to go on a cross pattern, pull them down kind of even. And then you can kind of pull them down a little tighter afterwards. There we go. Alrighty. Well, the next thing is going to be to flush this tank out. So I'm going to go try to do that, run it under the water spigot a while, and then we'll come back. Alright, well, I've been messing with it for a little while. I flushed it with carb cleaner about 5 times, ran under the hose, put gas through it a couple times. And we're starting to make a dent. That right there is where the bowl is in the tank for the carburetor to suck through. That right there is the main full where it pulls out of the tank, pulls it up, then drops it into the bowl. And it's got some rust in it, some pitting. It's not perfect, not by a long shot, but we're gonna run with it and see what we get. I bet it'll run off of it at least for a little bit, at least long enough to get an idea of what kind of shape this engine's in overall. So we're going to continue moving forward here and start putting this back together. And I need to put my jet back in my carburetor because I forgot to do that. Let me go ahead and get my varnish off the screwdriver there. Wouldn't be good to put varnish back in a jet after you just cleaned it. Jet's back in. We didn't mess with the adjustment on this, so the adjustment will be whatever it was when it was shut off the last time. Might be right, might be wrong, don't know. We'll figure that out when we get there. Alright, that's on. Okay, now we can stick our carburetor back down in our tank. Just like so. Gonna reuse the gasket. It'll probably leak, but I don't have one. And sometimes these old Briggs parts anymore, they want a fortune for them. You gotta buy them. I could probably make a gasket, but I don't have time for that right now. The sun's going down through the trees over there. That means I got maybe a half hour left, if I'm lucky, to mess with this engine. Alright, so now we're going to reconnect our linkages here. If I can get my hands to work right. That doesn't feel like it's doing what it's supposed to do. That's got to come way up here. Might have to pull the shroud off, I don't know. I think maybe I twisted something or messed something up. That's not. There it goes. Okay, I just had to hold my tongue just right to get that to work the way it needed to go. Okay, that one's in. Try not to bend these springs up. My best advice I can give you is try not to, because I even have a hard time with that myself. They bend real easy, and they don't always want to go where you want them to go. But just take your time. Be patient. They are pretty forgiving for the most part. Unless you're like I used to be when I was a young man. Get all impatient and just grab and throw stuff. You know. Then get all mad at it. Tell it it's junk. When it's really not, you're just not a very good mechanic because you're not patient. That's what most of this is patience and time. Just like anything else in life. If you're patient with it, You give it your time, you'll do just fine. Took me a long time to learn that lesson. I ruined a lot of things because of it, I'll tell you right now. A lot of stuff like this in the junkyard because of how impatient I was. Uncle Larry always used to harp on me about it. But in the end, he was more proud of me than I knew, because he told everybody else how proud he was of me. And by golly, time has a way of teaching you things that people can't. I don't know how many young people are out there listening to this, but I hope you'll take my advice on that and understand that patience is definitely a virtue. And it's also a blessing. It's a blessing to have patience. The only way you get that is from the testing and the waiting. Some people don't even get it then. There's definitely something to be said for waiting for things patiently. For not losing your temper all the time. When I was younger, I was quite the hothead, and I still sometimes can be. I won't say it's all out of me, but I've gotten much better about it the older I get. I'm finding the older I get, though, the more my fingers don't want to work like I like them to anymore. I guess that's part of it. You get the patience, and then by the time you get the patience, your body starts not letting you do those things. So then you get impatient again. That's what old Uncle Larry would tell me, that he'd get all mad because his body wouldn't do the things that he wanted to do. That's one of the things he said. He said, you know, by the time you get around to being able to do the things you want to do, he said you're too old to do them. He thought that was one of the greatest injustices to mankind, boy, was that you never have the time and the money at the same time. By the time you get too old to get old and you got the money, you can't do it, or you don't have the time. And when you're young, you got all the time in the world and no money. I sure do miss him a lot. Think about him every day. If I had my way, he'd be right here. But I know where he is, because I know he's in my heart. I know he's in my heart right now. We're getting there. There's the bottom one. Let's get that top one in. Tighten our carburetor down, throw some gas in, and put our exhaust back on, of course. I sure hope this thing runs. Well, we know it runs. I just hope it pulls fuel, I mean. Pulls fuel, runs on its own. How great would that be? Old engine been sitting 30, 40 years, running on its own again. That would be pretty awesome, wouldn't it? I think I'm going to take some of this chicken wire off of here maybe if I can. Well, I guess I can't. Pretty interesting exhaust system on that, if I do say so myself. Okay, well that's, I guess we'll just route that like that for now. It's probably gonna go down like that. All right, the time has come. Get all our stuff out of the way. Wait a minute. Yep, that needs to go back on there. I messed that up. That is the washer that goes behind your jet here. It's not going to work too good without that on there. There we go. Put that back on there. And I think I need to put the, let me show you guys that. Somebody told me one time the carburetors won't work right if you don't have a little screw in the center of them. So we're gonna do that just so I don't get that comment. Somebody will say it. Oh, well, it won't run right if you don't have that in there. I got her in there this time. All right, she's got basically a full tank of gasoline in her. And we're just getting to where the sun's starting to go down pretty good. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, let me make sure you guys got a good view here. And well, we're about to see if it'll draw fuel on its own and fire up for the first time in decades and decades and decades. All right, choke's on. Here we go. though. A fuel leak coming out of that tank. Probably where that gasket was at. Try and tighten her down a little more. Yeah, she don't sound too awful bad for a little old engine that could, I'll tell you. Fire it back up. I was amazed it still had the stop run switch there. Those are usually long gone. It's in pretty good shape for as old as it is. I'm really impressed. We're gonna have to choke it again. There she goes. Still leaking gasoline though. I think it's a combination of that gasket on the tank and maybe that cover for the diaphragm is probably not straight. Other than that though, she's a dandy little engine. A little more work, she could run perfect. Yeah, she's a fireball waiting to happen now. I'm gonna have to stop there. Flip it around so you guys can kind of see what I'm talking about here maybe. Yeah, that whole side of the tank is just coated in fuel. I think it's coming out right down there. Yeah, I mean the case looks good on it. That exhaust is really weird though. I'll just be honest, I'm still not sure exactly what year this thing is. I really don't know. The guy put the type and serial number on. I don't know if I showed that in the last video or not, but we're gonna get in here again. But yeah, there's the model 60202. I think that means it's a Model 6. And I don't know what year it is. But yeah, I mean, still got a little bit of shine to it even with the decal there. Pretty impressed with this little engine. Pretty great. Get her off Marketplace for 20 bucks. It sat there for a long time. I think I need to hear her run one more time. How about you? One more time and then I'll pick my tools up. We'll say goodbye. I'm gonna have to choke it every time because of that fuel leak. Train going by. Well, I'll tell you what there, guys, we got an old Briggs running after sitting for 30 years. It's not the best thing in the world, but it runs pretty good. It's pretty smooth. I'll take that win for today. You can resurrect old engines, but you can't resurrect people. Only Jesus can do that. So, anyways, you know, if you trust in Jesus, you get to go to eternal life. If you don't, you get to go into the lake of fire. So just remember that one, guys, and I hope you trust Jesus as your Lord and Savior. I hope you guys will stick around and catch me on the next one. Have a great day. God bless you.